Okay, before you write your angry comments, just hear me out on this. So real quick before I get started, I'm just going to preface by saying this video is going to be a lot more loose compared to my other review style videos, as I'm currently working on other more involved projects, but I really wanted to get my thoughts on this out as soon as possible because there's a lot to talk about and discuss when it comes to Modern Warfare 3. I'll talk more about future stuff happening for my channel towards the end of the video, but for now, let's get into why you probably clicked on this video. I honestly believe, regardless of how you feel about the current state of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3 is the best case scenario we could have possibly asked for. Now, whether or not that's a good or bad thing is up to you, but here's why I think it's actually a good thing. Recently, Call of Duty had its in-game reveal event for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, and to sum up real quick, I honestly think this is one of, if not the best event they've done for Warzone yet. I've loved other events that they've done that have happened as part of the game, like the Haunting of Verdansk or Godzilla vs. Kong, but this felt like I was playing a grand-scale single-player mission. I did like Black Ops Cold War's reveal event, but that one definitely had its issues with everyone competing simultaneously for the same rewards, and Vanguard's reveal event, well, that was just plain bad. This one was actually really well designed and a ton of fun, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. Easily the most fun I've had with Warzone 2 ever since it came out, even with the devs slowly trying to bring things back to how they were in Warzone 1. Now, I've personally definitely been vocal about how I feel about Call of Duty's current state. I made a whole video talking about how sick I was with Modern Warfare 2 last April, and I've been talking a lot on social media about it. And it is frustrating because, as I said in that video, and I will say again, there are elements and select things I really like about this game. I mean, dealing with over a season's worth of a broken UAV and snowballing games is not the reason I've spent almost 400 hours on this game since launch. There's so much potential here for this to be one of the best games in a long time, and I do have periods where I have fun with it. My next video is going to be briefly going back to gameplay videos with a montage I recently did in the game, which is the most fun I've had with Modern Warfare 2 in months. It's too early to tell, and I'm obviously speaking to the choir here when it comes to the more hardcore fan base for Call of Duty, but it is looking more and more like Modern Warfare 3 is less of a new game and more of what we actually hoped for and wanted out of Modern Warfare 2. And given what we know about the game, I suppose that shouldn't be too surprising. So for those tuning in that aren't in the loop and aren't super involved with Call of Duty, I'll explain. We've known since I believe it was at the latest last January from leaks and insider information that the original plan for Modern Warfare 2 was that it was going to be the first game with a 2-year life cycle. So instead of a new game coming out, we would get a premium paid expansion. This was going to include more single player content, every single original Modern Warfare 2 map remastered, and some form of co-op, which we now know is an open world zombies mode from Treyarch. But after the player base for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 was on a vastly increasing decline, Activision changed course to turn this expansion into Modern Warfare 3, led by Sledgehammer. And there isn't a lot here that leads credibility to the fact that this was originally going to be an expansion. All the Modern Warfare 2 maps are here. Well, original Modern Warfare 2 maps. You know what I mean. There's brand new single player content here. Everything from the last game is going to be carrying over into the next game, from weapons to operators to cosmetics. Sledgehammer has literally just gotten off of developing Vanguard less than 2 years ago. There is absolutely no way in hell they whipped up Modern Warfare 3 this quickly, especially when they're doing so many consumer-friendly moves like all of your weapons and operators carrying forward. Let's not kid ourselves. This was very likely expansion content that was turned into a full game. And you know what? Good on them for going that direction instead. Now, I do think how they're marketing this game is kind of ridiculous. They're putting things like a classic minimap and an actual perk system as selling points for this next game. They're bringing back movement options from the first Modern Warfare game like slide canceling and reload canceling. It's basically everything we've been practically begging Infinity Ward for in the current game for the past year that they refuse to listen to. If you've watched my previous videos about Modern Warfare 2 and discussing the game, you know that despite liking the game, these have all been things I'm extremely critical of when it comes to the game, as far back as the open beta for the game. And it's insane that it's taking a different developer releasing a new game for them to finally address all those issues. But at least we're getting a game from a dev that is actually listening to us. When it comes to Call of Duty specifically and communicating with their fans and audience, there is no developer that does it better than Sledgehammer does. At every turn, every time they've led development on a Call of Duty game, they've always listened to player feedback and made things better for their games. World War II had its total overhaul halfway into its life cycle and got drastically better. Vanguard gradually improved over time, especially when they reworked the entire spawn system to work more traditionally. Even now, during and after the reveal, content creators have said Sledgehammer has asked them for feedback and actually engaged in conversations for how to make the game better before the beta's even out. Even the way they casually converse with people online has been more interactive with the core community for Call of Duty. Infinity Ward has never done this. They insisted on their vision for Modern Warfare 2 and have been taking baby steps to make the game gradually better, but it's nowhere near enough, and they aren't communicating with us effectively about this stuff. This is exactly what I vented about in my last rant video about Call of Duty, and to a certain degree, even the freaking beta review I did last September, every single dev involved with Call of Duty always finds a way to interact with their audience and find ways to make the game better, except for Infinity Ward. The UAV bug is the biggest offender here. The first half of Season 4, we had total radio silence on this problem. We didn't know if Infinity Ward was even aware this bug existed. It took Treyarch reaching out to content creators to ask about this and other issues in the game for Infinity Ward to finally address it mid-Season 4. And here we are, almost halfway into Season 5, and it's still a problem. In addition to that, it wasn't until Season 5 that integrated suppressors finally worked properly in the game and kept you off the radar. That's 9 months this bug was in the game. What do you think about that? Combined with the current issues Modern Warfare 2 still has, the inherent design flaws it has in things like the perk system and no classic minimap, Infinity Ward's general radio silence and insistence on sticking to their vision and not making the game better based on player input, you cannot tell me for a second that a year 2 for Modern Warfare 2 would have been successful in any way. If they stuck with this original plan of making a year 2 expansion pack, that's another full year we would have had to suffer through all this. Another year of this terrible perk system, another year of bugs not getting fixed or even addressed, and another year of Infinity Ward crossing their arms and treating the player base like they know what people like about Call of Duty more than its own fans do. Nothing would have changed, nothing would have gotten better, and we would have been stuck waiting for Treyarch's next game in 2024 before getting a proper Call of Duty game, and not the identity crisis Modern Warfare 2 has been having. Because I said this before, and I'll say it again, I don't think Infinity Ward wants to make Call of Duty anymore. All of their creative choices and decisions point towards them wanting to make a more tactical, slow-paced experience that is the polar opposite of what people love about Call of Duty. This has worked for their single-player offerings, and it worked well for their raids that they put out for Modern Warfare 2, but it doesn't translate to multiplayer. When I go into a raid, I go into it with the expectation that it's gonna be slow-paced and require lots of teamwork. When I go into Call of Duty multiplayer, I don't want to think, I just want to jump in and go guns blazing like I always have in past games. Infinity Ward really is facing a serious identity crisis when it comes to the multiplayer side of things, and another year of that would have caused any goodwill left for Call of Duty to go down the drain leading up to Treyarch's next game. And in some ways, that's honestly even more frustrating. Infinity Ward has shown over and over again that they're very good at developing these slower-paced style games. Their single-player campaigns have all been great, well, except for Ghosts. Most of their co-op has also been pretty good, and when they drop the ball on this, they actually do make things better in this regard. Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2019 was a complete disaster because of how overwhelmed you could get and how much each mission asked the player to accomplish. Modern Warfare 2's Spec Ops missions, by comparison, are much better designed and thought out, and the raids are expertly designed in a way that requires communication and teamwork, but in a good way. If Infinity Ward is going to stick with Call of Duty, let them handle single player and co-op. It's very clearly where their strengths are at. The last time any of their games had a universally praised multiplayer was the original Modern Warfare 3, and that wasn't even their own doing. That was all Sledgehammer. At least with a new game and with Sledgehammer at the helm, there is an opportunity to refresh here. I will defend Vanguard's multiplayer till the day I die. It had issues of its own, but it was still at its core a Call of Duty multiplayer experience we know and love. Sledgehammer has a much better grasp at what its fans want. That's why the movement changes and returning staples like classic minimap, slide and reload canceling, and even map voting are front and center, because this is exactly what Call of Duty needs right now. They don't want another year of Modern Warfare 2, they want the traditional Call of Duty experience. And even with its issues, which I'm sure the game will inevitably have given how quickly this turnaround was made, at least I'm going into the next game knowing from past experience that Sledgehammer will at least make a visible effort to make the game better as time goes on. Plus, let's be totally realistic here. There is no way in hell Activision would have released this expansion pack for Modern Warfare 2 for less than full premium price. They already make tons of money off of store bundles. Casual players absolutely would have spent $70 to play the original Modern Warfare 2 maps. The full price tag for Modern Warfare 3 is stupid, but at least it's a game with the promise of giving us back what we've been wanting all year, and not an expansion pack with no promises of a game getting better anytime soon. Now, I've already personally pre-ordered my copy, mainly because I'm part of the 10% that still cares about the single player campaign every year and I want to play it early, but I am not going to blame people in the slightest if they don't get this year's game. Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 burned a lot of bridges for a lot of people. Modern Warfare 3 is promising a lot, what with a campaign that has open world missions, a multiplayer that looks and plays more classic, and a zombies mode that sounds way too good to be true. They're placing a lot of ambition in this game and asking a lot for people to come back after this past year. I'm going to save a lot of my thoughts on the game itself for when the beta rolls around, but as of right now, given what we know and given what we've been shown, I think getting a new game was the best case scenario we could have gotten. People would have been burned from Modern Warfare 2 regardless if this year's content was an expansion or a brand new game. But since it's a new game, maybe this reboot trilogy will finally realize its full potential after Infinity Ward got lucky with Modern Warfare 2019 and dropped the ball with Modern Warfare 2. The potential has always been there, and Infinity Ward has always been the common factor holding it back. Maybe this time, Sledgehammer can flex their muscles and deliver what we hoped and expected out of Modern Warfare 2. And if I'm totally wrong and Modern Warfare 3 turns out to be a complete disaster, I don't know, I guess at least X-Defined is still on the horizon. Alright, so if you made it this far, thanks for watching, hearing out my thoughts. I know this isn't the most involved edited video I've ever made, but I really wanted to get my thoughts out on the game out as soon as possible. Let me know in the comments below what you think and whether or not you'll be getting Modern Warfare 3 this year. And also let me know if you want to see more casual review / commentary videos like this in between some of my bigger projects. On that note too, I do want to give some brief channel updates in an actual video since I've mostly been doing it on other social media, but I wanted to discuss some future videos coming up. First up, I just want to say thank you all again so much for the love on the last review I did ranking Taylor Swift's albums. I genuinely did not expect that video to perform as well as it has been. It really does mean a lot. So as for future videos, as I said at the beginning, I am making another gameplay video for Modern Warfare 2 since I got something in it recently that has given me the most fun I've had with the game since, God, probably when they brought the intervention back to the game. It won't be that long or super involved since I said gameplay videos from now on are going to be an on-whim thing I do if I feel passionate enough to make them. But that video is next and should be up relatively soon. My next review video is happening after that. Not saying what it is just yet, but that's coming up. Now, because I've talked about this a lot on my channel, as for my Last of Us review, I've already put this on the back burner for the time being. I'm sure most of you are well aware of the WGA and SAG strikes that are happening right now, and as part of their strikes, they've requested people to not promote any projects that are being affected or would have been affected by the strike. And even though reviews technically don't count towards those restrictions, I'd rather play it safe to show my solidarity with the strikes happening. On top of that, I'm just gonna be real. That review is going to take a long-ass time to make. The process of making it has already seen a handful of hurdles outside of the strikes, and I want to make sure this review is as perfect as it can be. It's easily going to be my biggest video yet, and it's still the next major project for the channel besides my yearly lists, but I'm not setting a date for when it'll be done anymore. It'll come out when it's ready, and just know it will be worth the wait. This is probably the last time I preemptively promise on any big projects like this. I'll still be making them, but I'm not going to discuss them anymore until I know said projects are either done or close to being done. But if any of that interests you, or if you liked what you watched here, subscribe to the channel. I occasionally make gameplay videos and other one-off joke videos, but I mainly focus on review content like this, talking about movies, shows, music, and games. Check out my last couple of reviews on the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys soon.